Oh yes, give it to me.
Maybe we'll cut that, or it'll be a really shit cold opener.
Because that is libel. We have just done libel.
Straight into fucking libel territory.
What sort of games are we looking forward to in particular?
Cyberpunk 2077, without a doubt.
I do just like the style as well, like the sort of futuristic Blade Runner-esque style.
I mean, Cyberpunk.
If only there was a name for it.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Video Game Chat podcast. We are a group of gamers from the UK, and we love to talk about gaming news, and upcoming games, and old games, and even a waste of your time and money games. We hope you enjoy, and if you'd like to give us a follow, and ask us questions, or leave us themes and topics for discussion, please follow and tweet us at VGC_podcast. So guys, how are we doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad.
I long for death.
So how have you all been since last podcast?
Well, I've only just finished editing them both, to be honest.
True.
Forever working away.
so many farts. Mostly Jordan and Gary, for those interests.
I would feel deeply and personally attacked by that.
Yeah. Calling us
Well,
out
you
like that on the podcast.
It's not an attack, it's literally a statement of fact.
Also, we've had a bit of a break since the original recording session. What games have we played? What's new? What have we all been doing?
So since last time, I remember we mentioned about Witcher 3, and I haven't played it. So I saw it was on sale at Christmas, and I ended up getting it, mainly because of the series on Netflix. And if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. It's really, really good. And the game is, I would say, like, maybe haven't got that far in it yet, but first place may seem a little bit too high for me from the list, but it definitely is on the list for me now.
I was going to say, I've actually been playing a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2 with Elliot again lately, which, after a completely terrible launch, that game's actually doing quite well for itself. It's really well supported and things, which, to be honest, I kind of think Battlefield 5 could do with the same love and attention post-release that Battlefront 2's had, because it's a bit of a slow drip feed at the moment, still, after, a year.
Yeah, didn't have a great
smooth launch.
No. Yeah.
Thanks for the invite, Rob.
Whoops.
I have that game installed.
Do I even have you on?
Yes, you do.
Oh, you're not even friends?
You do have your Origin. We played
maybe you
Battlefield
should
together.
appear online at some point then, Jordan Wisley.
I don't turn on Origin unless I need to.
Then don't fucking complain you don't get invited.
Unless the people need me, I will not be there.
I'm always on Discord. Come on. Jesus.
To be fair, Jordy, I think that we have also been quite distracted because you, myself, and Brendan, we've all been playing Minecraft again. And Rob's joined in a little bit, but not as much.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. The extent to which a certain one of you has played this game.
No, we're not going to mention any names here at all.
Don't judge me. I built my mansion on the hilltop for the express purpose of allowing me to look down on you.
As any Irishman would want.
Brendan, you didn't need it's not even a mansion. That's an understatement. It's a castle. It's a fucking
fortress.
I make do.
Right, so we're going to start the podcast off with a little bit of news, bit of gaming news. So I've done some research and found some stories that we might find interesting, just to sort of start us off. So after last episode, where I completely tore apart Anthem by BioWare, it turns out that BioWare are going to completely redesign Anthem and give it a sort of new lease of life.
Uh-huh.
But I reckon it will still be shit.
Okay, so explain. Have they detailed exactly what they're going to do to improve the game, or have they just said that they're going to improve it?
They've just said they're going to be overlooking the gameplay mechanics and redesigning some of the features. So
Right. Okay.
I'll give them their dues, but like I still think it'll be a pile of shit.
It's quite a common theme that quite a lot of AAA titles at the moment do tend to be doing
terribly initially and then getting fixed a year or two after launch.
Yeah, and obviously, like,
It's
I mean,
almost
this is
as if those games could have done with another year of development.
yeah,
And EA, well, let's face it, it's mostly EA, isn't it? Ubisoft as well, to an extent.
yeah.
Yeah.
A few of their a lot of their games tanked last year.
A majority of AAA titles fall under the problem where publishers do push very, very hard to get the games out on time, because obviously they've allocated budgets and timeframes for that. So it's very difficult for them to push back unless there is an exceptionally valid reason. If the game is broken on launch, they'll just do a day one patch. And if it's still broken from then, they've already made their money. So they can then look to improving it further on. So I guess that's mainly how these games are working. I mean, are you guys happy with that?
Not at all, because if your solution is, fuck it, we'll fix it like 6 months later, like, it's going to get absolutely bodied within the first week of release, or like No Man's Sky 2 weeks before it releases, when somebody gets their hands on an early copy, and they play through it and they're like, well, this game is broken and dead and empty, and there's absolutely nothing that was promised in earlier trailers and things, and then it does fucking terribly. And then they do go, oh, well, we've had a really bad year, so we're going to lay off this entire sweet development team that made you a whole bunch of classics that you remember from your childhood, and we haven't had them working on anything similar since. We've completely wasted them, and now they're all jobless.
I like to extract this from the games industry specifically, in terms of looking at it as a consumer. If I were to buy one of those fucking bizarre, those Internet of things where it connects to the internet in order to work, and say it was one of those bins that, sorts your rubbish, and it didn't work for the first year that I had it after purchase, I would demand a refund, a full refund, and I would think that the people that made it are clowns. So the fact that game developers who are putting millions into development haven't put aside enough time to do some basic Q&A and testing to finalize a product before putting it to market is ridiculous.
I disagree with you on that inherently. I don't believe it's solely the developer's fault.
That's not what he's saying at all. In terms of, it's still on the publisher, obviously.
No, but I think Brendan said that the developers...
Oh, I'll qualify that by saying, it may be an institutionally and a structurally caused issue of the publisher pushing the developers and pushing them into crunch time and not giving them enough QA and testing time, but I will continue to see them sort of as one big association, like the people who are making and publishing these games are doing that practice. So it's fine. Like, I'll take a clarification of saying, it's mostly the publishers at fault. The reality of games being released broken is the ridiculous reality that needs confronted.
Yes, because I feel like a lot of video gamers are quick to jump down the throats of developers and not necessarily publishers.
Gary, Brendan, didn't you spend a lot of last episode doing that for Bohemia?
Yeah, but Bohemia self-published.
Yeah, I know, but you spent a good 10 minutes between you shitting on Bohemia devs.
And based off Jordy and Brendan's recommendation, I purchased Arma 3. Oh my god. I have a lot to say about Arma 3.
It's worth noting that, just for the listeners that are listening in on this, Gary has played absolutely zero of the training facilities on Arma 3. His experience of it has been a handful of multiplayer servers.
And multiplayer servers with random online people, and also just condensed with you guys. I don't know what I'm doing.
You probably should play the training though, mate.
I probably should play the training.
It will help.
It literally will take about 20 minutes, like, for you to do. We'll move swiftly on to my next bit of news that Sony has purchased Insomniac Games.
Oh,
for
nice.
$229 million. So that means Sony now owns the IPs of Spider-Man and Ratchet & Clank, as they had last year, or couple of years ago when they released those IPs. And also, Insomniac Games comes with the IP of Sunset Overdrive, which was originally the Xbox One's exclusive, comes with the console game. So whether the Sony decide to do something with that or not remains to be seen.
I'm
I'm
not
Nice to
familiar.
get the new Spider-Man on PC. I'm not going to lie.
Netflix. So Netflix has come out with the Witcher series, as we've all watched, and I believe we've all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix have also gained a Resident Evil franchise that they'll be bringing out sometime in the
Interesting.
future. So with all the Resident Evil remakes and that coming up, we just had Resident Evil 2. They remade that recently, didn't they?
Yep, they're doing 3.
Yeah. So they're doing
They
3.
leaked free via Steam artwork for the Capcom sale.
So Netflix has got Resident Evil adaptation coming out. Do we reckon it's going to be as good as the Witcher series? Is it sort of a video game crossover, or do we, or do you reckon they'll sort of stray far from like the Resident Evil films that have obviously come out?
Seeing as the film strayed pretty far away from the source material anyway, them straying away from the films would be them doing the games, which I'm very happy with if they do. So,
Yeah, I mean, the games have always been a little bit cheesy, so
absolutely.
it could. If they want to go full horror, they'd have to remove some of the cheesiness from it, or they lean into it and kind of do like Ash versus Evil Dead style comedy horror type thing. Maybe it'll work. I have no idea. I mean, I love the films, I love the first film rather. The following films were interesting, to say the least. And the games are really good. So if they did the games, like Rob said, if they did it like the games, then yeah, I mean...
I'd really like to see a game-driven sort of series.
I'd like to see Resident Evil 4 done as the sort of core setting and theme to it, just so that I can see who they end up casting to do Stranger.
Show us your weapon. No,
What are you buying?
What are you buying?
What are you selling?
Stranger.
They should get Christopher Walken to do that. I think he'd be great.
Stranger.
Is that your best impression? Do you want to try that again?
Fuck it, no, let's just carry on.
Just ignore that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll cut that, or it'll be a really shit cold opener. Today, Sonic movie was released. Who's
on the date of recording?
Happy about it? Bad? Feels bad about it?
Well, I am amazed that they have already announced the Pornhub parody version of it.
Oh, brilliant! Wonderful.
I did not need that information in my life.
Yeah, neither did I, but I saw it, so do you. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
No.
Well, you didn't have to say that. Now we're all curious.
No.
yeah.
We're not curious, Gary, but stop it.
I'm going to be honest.
So
I don't really care about Sonic at all. I didn't play many of the Sonic games. I have no strong feelings about this movie.
but
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
think you could
some
do
facts.
any. I don't think it could be any worse of a film than the original Super Mario Brothers film.
I mean, you're
Oh, no.
comparing two films, which you're comparing it to a film which also isn't of really any
Right.
note.
Let's face it, that film was clearly just a product of cocaine.
I do want to point out, I feel it is somewhat unfair on the writing team of Sonic to just immediately assume, because it is a movie about Sonic, that blue hedgehog who runs fast, that it won't have a good plot. For all we know, it could be Inception with Sonic fulfilling the role of Leonardo DiCaprio. So we should really give that writing team a chance.
But from what I've seen from the trailers, it doesn't. I have no idea of the story, so I would probably still go and see it. Plus, I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey films were like my childhood growing up.
See, that's the part that really puts me off watching it.
Jim Carrey?
You don't like Jim Carrey?
I really don't like Jim Carrey.
Gary, leave right now.
Yeah.
Well, the interview that he did with that one woman who was just doing her job and he completely jumped down her throat for one was...
Yeah, but he's a nutcase.
Yeah, but it's still unacceptable.
But he's you can't really go at him just for that one interview.
I haven't seen this interview.
He was probably on.
Okay. I'm just going to straight up say, Rob, that moment, like when Jim Carrey is brought up in this recording, cut from that point onwards, because that is libel.
Absolutely.
We have just done libel.
Straight into fucking libel territory. We can't fucking use this. It's going to be a hard smashed cut there. I'm going to just...
Fade it out.
We need a new jingle for libel. Accidentally done a libel.
Just bleep over the entire segment, and I'll just do a quick recording where it's just like, we apologise to our listeners as we have just libelled a major celebrity.
Okay, and the last thing of our news today. So it was announced earlier, maybe a couple of days ago. Star Citizen made a record-breaking pledge year in 2019. They managed to raise another 48 million for the Star Citizen game.
Oh my god!
So that means the total now stands at 268 million as of today.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of moolah.
Yeah,
and the single player beta is meant to be released later on this year.
I personally, like, as Mr. Big followed this for years ago, it's not going to happen. Like, we won't be getting our hands on that beta anyway. That's going to be like the internal beta, because that's the single player which they pretty much want to keep spoiler free. So I don't think they'd release that fully until it's actually 100% like good to go. Because again, that's still there. Once they get that out, that's going to be what's then going to bring in like the next big wave of investment for Star Citizen. Because at that point, they've proved that they can do it.
Yeah.
Because again, like they weren't just planning for one single player game either. It's going to be a trilogy of its own. And that's pretty much their proof of concept for the whole thing. So they need to get that right. So that won't be out until next year at the earliest.
If we're basing...
And if they run into any of the usual delays that they run into, it won't be out until like fuck knows when. So
5 years? If we're basing this off...
As we were discussing earlier, like games being rushed out by publishers and stuff that always end up completely fucking broken, they don't have to do that. They can push it as soon as it's actually ready. They're beholden to the backers. Like,
and that's where self-published actually comes in quite useful, because I believe Larian did exactly the same with Divinity Original Sin 2. I'm not sure if it... Yeah, they kickstarted it. I'm not sure if it was that game, but I saw an interview from the CEO discussing how that they had publishers previously and they pushed them release the game when it wasn't finished. So them actually kickstarting, and the same with Star Citizen, when that eventually gets launched, which hopefully, touch wood, won't be too far away. It will actually be really, really good.
So the main topic of today's podcast is the upcoming games of 2020. So what sort of games are we looking forward to in particular, guys?
Oof. My big two, Doom Eternal and Cyberpunk 2077, without a doubt.
Good, yeah. Doom Eternal, that's supposed to be released in March of this
20th.
year. Yeah, and is going to be available on all platforms, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch.
And worth pointing out, the collector's edition of that has the Doot meme as a skin for one of the enemies. So go get it.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic, yes.
Have you pre-ordered it?
I fucking did. The first game, the last Doom was amazing. Like,
yeah, it was.
So without a doubt, I'm getting this one.
Cool. And Cyberpunk 2077. So CD Projekt Red, who brought us The Witcher, is also releasing that hopefully in September, which is do we reckon they're gonna do it, or they're gonna have to push it back again?
No, I reckon they'll do it. Unfortunately, as Brendan mentioned in the last episode, crunch time being shit and everything, they are crunching their staff, which is not great.
Wait,
I'd rather they delay it a bit longer.
Has that been announced?
Confirmed, yeah. Yep.
So we said this in the last couple of episodes, like, we'll have to see how CD Projekt Red fair with crunch time. And as you said, they're doing it. I think there's always going to be an element of crunch time regardless, but it depends on what level of crunch time they're putting their staff through. If it's unreasonable, then I think then you need to just add a little bit more time. I think
they did do that, in fairness. They recently did announce that they were pushing it back to allow time to get it finished.
Yeah, but if that's an extra 3 months of extra crunch time, do you know what I mean? Like if it's just from now on till then, just crunch time, and that 3 months hasn't actually alleviated anything, it's just, not 3 months, sorry, half a year. That half a year is actually what they should have done originally. Yeah. Then, maybe they will push it back again. I hope that by pushing it back, it's actually going to be, as we've discussed before, finished, or at least as close to finished. Do you think it's going to live up to the hype?
It depends. Like, if you're going into it expecting essentially The Witcher 3, but sci-fi, you're going to be way off mark there, I think. But if you're going in expecting a Cyberpunk RPG, fuck yeah, you're going to love it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to smash that as a YouTube series, I think.
I think quite a lot of people are going to be doing the same.
Yeah.
Good luck, Rob.
We'll see how that does.
It'll be a competitive marketplace for a lot of playthroughs, I bet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure if it is as good as it is hyped up to be, then people will be playing this game for months, if not years. So I'm trying not to watch too much because I am very excited for it, but I don't want to overhype it.
I do just like the style as well, like the sort of futuristic Blade Runner-esque style.
I mean, Cyberpunk.
If only there was a name for it.
It's kind of like steampunk, but kind of modern.
Yeah, like cyber
tech. Yeah, the tech computer punk.
Are they tech goths?
Moving on.
Moving swiftly on from
slating me.
There is a game that both Rob and I are very, very excited for, and I'm sure Jordy and Brendan are probably excited for if they're enjoying Divinity as much as I believe they are. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes. Yeah. Very good.
That's one that I'm like. Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk are like my top kind of. I mean, I hate to say AAA, but I guess Larian kind of have merged themselves into the AAA realm now because even though they're not
just the success of Divinity at this point allows them to have that budget sort of thing potentially.
Yeah, and I mean,
and it is a massive IP that they've got their hands on. So
exactly, Divinity I don't believe was necessarily a AAA title, but it in the actual term of AAA, but because of how well it was, it was like one of the best games ever. So I would say that was easily a AAA title in my opinion. We're going back. Baldur's Gate 3 hasn't been specifically announced that it's going to be released this year. They're literally the perfect company to do Baldur's Gate justice. So very much looking forward to it. Hope they're not rushing it. And
yeah, it's definitely one I'm looking forward to doing to playing through as well. Brendan, any games you're looking forward to playing in 2020?
Well, the primary one is Mount and Blade Bannerlord because I absolutely loved Mount and Blade Warband, and like from all the stuff they've done, the devs have been very good where they do a regular blog that sort of gets into the nitty-gritty of each feature and function within the game to sort of keep people up to date on how they're improving it. And it is just they're taking everything from Warband and making it better and polishing it, and it looks great. I just hope that they sort out the rampant use of an auto-blocking hack on multiplayer so that the multiplayer can actually be enjoyable.
Yeah, after you sort of introduced me to Warband, I quite enjoyed that game, and yeah, looking forward to this one.
The only other thing is Hytale, which is the quote-unquote Minecraft successor that is hopefully seeing some stuff getting released this year in terms of, shall we say, early alpha access. But I think their official date for release is supposed to be next year, but hopefully we'll get some content this year to get a taste of what that game's going to be like.
Yeah, once again, Hightail. I'm pretty sure that I told you about Hightail.
Yeah, you did. I had heard nothing about it until you had said, "Are you excited for Hightail?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's definitely another one that is up there for me.
I've not heard of Hightail before, so can you do like a brief rundown of it, in case anyone who's interested?
Minecraft with all the mods and a better development team.
Yeah, it's on a better engine. It's done by the folks who were Hypixel, I think they're called, the YouTube series guys, did like survival games and all that business, and they have just built this game from the ground up, and there's a huge sort of community aspect already being built into the core of it around giving tools to modders and all the rest of it, and just general users to design models and things for the game. So it just looks like these guys obviously care about what they're making, and it looks very exciting.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's another one that's definitely on the old wish list. Rob, you got any games in particular other than the two you've already said? Any other ones?
Shit, what am I thinking? Oh, going back to our sort of Dungeons and Dragons-y thing. Kickstarter right back to a while ago. Tailspire. That should be coming out later this year, which is essentially... It's in-engine rendering of like your party and all the enemies and things, and somebody DMs it and everybody else plays out what they want to do, rolls dice and shit, and it plays out for you. So you've got that visual, and I think that would be really good for like streaming or recording for YouTube, like D&D sessions, and like a bit more fun to actually play online separately rather than using goddamn Roll20, which is just staring at quite nasty, crappy assets, on just a flat screen from above, you know?
So is it a tool for D&D, or is it a separate entity?
It's its own unlicensed role-playing game thing, but your DM builds all the levels and stuff, adds in all the assets, music and effects and things that he wants, and all the enemies and stuff, and then you guys and your little heroes that you've made, like, model in their little models, and you like roll for I'm going to move over here, roll for attack, roll perception, all that shit. You do that like while you're playing, and it all plays out.
Okay, because that sounds very similar to the GM mode in Divinity.
Yeah, but actually straight up in a system that's built for playing D&D rather than...
Yeah, I think this is quite
much about D&D. It looks like tabletop as well. Like it's all tabletop pieces, and actually like your characters have little stands.
Tilt-shifty looking, and it's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
I as soon as you like told us about this, I went straight to the Kickstarter page and copped that shit, because it is definitely something that I've always wanted to do. But just never had the people
ability
or the time to actually like learn how to D&D properly, but definitely something I'm looking forward to doing this year.
Yeah, I would very much like to play a campaign with you guys.
Yeah, same. So two things. One is the Kickstarter still open.
Because it's open on their own. There's another platform or something, and you can essentially like a late Kickstarter backer sort of thing. You can
cool.
It's $15 or 15 quid.
Yeah, it's cheap as shit.
£15. Okay, right. Yeah. I'll back that. Second question. Obviously D&D. I don't know if you guys. I mean, I know Rob, you've played D&D, but Jordy or Brendan, have you played it before?
I have. I'm currently doing a session with a few mates of mine in Belfast.
Cool. Okay, so the DM, it takes quite a lot of prep work. So you have to build dungeons. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like world design at the very core basis of Tailspire. So the idea is that you can build out an entire map as you envisage it, and I feel like it'll be beneficial even as a gateway thing for D&D, because I think a lot of the problem is, it's an old school game, like a tabletop game that you're playing with your friends using your imagination. This is a good sort of way to get people into it, I think, where you're saying, no, you're not sitting there, playing make-believe. Come on to this actual game system and you can see this world that I'm talking about.
Yeah, with a little model character that you've made, like you've designed yourself. That was like their first stretch goal, and they smashed that immediately.
I've played D&D campaigns before, and the thing that always falls down is that everyone's busy and no one has time to meet up to one location to play a campaign.
Yeah,
because you've got to set aside a whole evening to play it, plus all the prep work beforehand. So having the option to play over the internet is I quite like that. So, Jordy, have you got any games that you're looking forward to this year?
Yes, there are a few games that I'm looking forward to this year. One of them being the Marvel's Avengers from Square Enix, which I am very looking forward to.
All I know of that game is the like wonky release like video thing. That I first look at it, and everybody looked like they were not quite licensed reproductions of the actors involved. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's still kind of like that.
We don't have the rights to Robert Downey Jr., so this is Robert Downey. Oh, no, it's gone. Sorry, I've had a bad week.
He fucked it.
He did it.
I stuck to the landing.
Boo that man. Boo!
But anyway, yeah, Marvel Avengers. I'm a big Marvel fan, and like the Spider-Man game was fantastic, and I hope that they do this game justice.
Is it by the same people?
No, it's not by the same people. Sorry, I mean just like the styles, the superhero genre. Like I love it, and I really want to play it. Like I played a little bit of it at where was it? Gary, you told me the other day what it was I went to, and I've forgotten again.
EGX.
EGX. Yes, EGX in London last year, and queued up for about half an hour on the Sunday just to play like 20 minutes of it, and it was just like the intro that you see in the trailer. But yeah, the main.
So you queued up just to see the intro?
No, it's a trailer, and you like the gameplay that you've already seen on like YouTube and stuff like that. It's just that bit, like.
Oh, but that was released after.
Yeah, but
right.
It was a good like the controls was good, and like the way you play is quite good. I enjoyed playing the bit when you play as Thor. That was really cool. Can't remember who else I played as. I think you play as Black Widow for a little bit, and Iron Man. Yeah, but no, really good game from what I've played the little bit of, and I just hope the story is just as good. Talking about other console exclusive games, we can also look forward to The Last of Us 2, which is coming out in May.
If I had a PlayStation, I would get it. But I don't. So I'm not going to.
Same.
I do have one, but I won't be getting it.
Ooh,
just to rub it in my goddamn face, Gary.
Well, I just don't have the time again.
You know, play the first one. Just steal his PlayStation.
Yeah, I think I will, bastard.
But Rob, I thought you didn't like the non-Newtonian controllers or whatever it is you always...
Non-Euclidean.
What?
Jesus,
they don't make sense.
That is
they are uncomfortable, and they just do not fit in human hands, I swear to God.
I just had to Google non-Euclidean.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what it means.
Right. Okay. Moving swiftly on. So The Last of Us is going to be a PlayStation exclusive. Let's have a Microsoft exclusive. Halo Infinite is due to drop in winter of 2020, so it will be available on the PC. It is. Yes. Well,
along with everything else, finally.
They've released all the other ones finally. So yeah, from Xbox and Microsoft exclusives, we'll go to just a PC release, or potentially just a PC release, a VR PC release with Half-Life Alyx. Should be coming out in March 2020. Now, boys, which one of us is going to have to buy the VR headset, and we're all going to come around and play it?
Oh, God, well, I think we all want one at this point, don't we?
No.
Yeah.
I want Half-Life Alyx. I don't want a 500 quid VR headset that I'll only use for a couple of games.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you get a VR headset, you'll you'll find games that you'll want to play.
Or you'll just mod shit like use Vorpex to use it on, say, like, Arma 3, Brendan.
Are you kidding me? Have you played Arma 3? Like, I don't think that frame rate could take a VR headset.
But yeah, we are looking forward to it. It is obviously an IP that we're all very invested in. And yeah, we just hope it's a decent release, and I hope that VR headsets go down in price quite considerably between now and then.
Oh, guys, just realised what they're going to do.
What?
I bet you at some point within this game, there will be one of those Combine soldiers will knock a can off a bin and make you put it into it.
Probably, yeah.
They're going to do... I know what you're at, Gaben!
Gaben. Praise Gaben.
I've been umming and ahhing between like two different types of VR headsets, and unfortunately I missed the initial launch of the Index because I was questioning whether or not £1,000 is worth it. I've done a hell of a lot.
I'd question £1,000.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not like we have money flowing out of our ears. We're, average gamers. £1,000 is quite a lot of money, especially when, if you have to buy yourself a gaming rig, it costs a lot of money. So seeing a VR headset at the same cost as like a low end gaming computer is quite considerable. And especially at the moment when the market, there's not many VR games out there where you're like, okay, I'll turn my head to that. I think I'll play that. Most of them are kind of gimmicky at the moment, but they are fun. Don't get me wrong. But I can't imagine you'd set up the VR headset every night to play like Beat Saber. Play it like once or twice a month, maybe max.
I can imagine Beat Saber's like sort of a party game, isn't it? Like you play it when your friends are around, you take turns. A bit like Guitar Hero was back in the day.
Is it just
exactly?
Is it just like a repeat of, remember that old like Samba game and stuff you could get with the PlayStation Eye?
Oh yeah, it's definitely just like a better PlayStation Eye, yeah.
I feel like it's all been building up to that, so you will get a regurgitation of this sort of stuff, like the old the PS Move with the wands with the balls on the end of them. Like a lot of that was based around, I'm swinging a sword, so on and so forth. But because this is so taxing on the hardware, everyone is made out of butter. I think like there'll be a lot of repeats of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Alyx is going to be like the turning point for VR. If Alyx does outstandingly well, and Valve have already sold out their Index, a lot of other VR headsets I've had my eyes on have been selling super quick. So obviously everyone is excited about this. If it doesn't live up to expectations of not only VR but also a Half-Life title, they've got a lot to do. They've got a lot to show. But if they do bring it out the bag, then I think VR's in for a very good future.
Indeed.
Yeah, I've always thought it needs like one big AAA IP that needs to just take the risk and make a VR AAA title of like their main IP, and it'll kick off like nobody's business.
Exactly.
But nobody's done it.
Because it's such a huge investment and it could fail.
Yep, but it could do incredibly, incredibly well.
Yeah.
And if it does, or, like, even with, Half-Life 3, Valve's not exactly, like, the biggest developer in the world. Hell, they're not really much of a developer at all anymore, are they? Like, it's been that long. But say they did Half-Life 3 as a VR exclusive, and it was very, very good, and everybody sort of went, okay, I'll at least get an Oculus, just for this sort of thing. And they're blown away, and then they recommend it to everybody, and their mates are all like you, Gary, going, all right, fuck it, I'll get an Oculus then. And then you play it and you're blown away, and it just does really well. That might spur somebody on, say, like Activision or something, to do a VR Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, I mean, I went a bit of a divergence, but I tested some VR games in preparation for deciding whether or not I want a VR headset, and there are some interesting mechanics out there. I can't remember the name of one, but there's one where you're flying, and it's like a Call of Duty in in air. It's really good. It takes a bit to get used to, but
Wait,
it's an interesting concept.
Are you just like a soldier of a gun, just like flying in the air?
Well, it's actually it's kind of a little bit more like Titanfall, but flying. You're kind of like, imagine you could just move in any direction, and you're kind of like hovering,
like Gundam.
Yeah, in a way, like a first-person Gundam with like yeah.
So, next year, there's a lot of sequels that we will be receiving in the games world. So,
Not Half-Life 3.
Not Half-Life 3, no. But we're just going to go through, I'm going to quickly rapid fire through a few of these ones. And if you guys have anything to say, just pipe in with. So you got Dying Light 2, hardcore zombies.
God, yeah.
Definitely will be getting that.
I tried to get Gary to get Dying Light 1 for the co-op, but Dying Light 2 was announced, so we're sort of like, okay, fine, let's wait for that then.
Wait for Dying Light 2. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. One that I'm very happy with, Overwatch 2 is coming out. They're going to be releasing a brand new engine for the Overwatch game and actually a story mode, which is going to be hopefully fantastic because all the little story bits they bring out through like their quarterly sort of updates and the holiday seasons are always really good. So I hope they do a good story mode for that. Anyone else? No one else play Overwatch apart from me, I don't think.
I played it with you.
You
played a bit of it. Not a huge fan. 14 Fortress better.
Yeah. One that I know that Rob's quite excited for. Oh, sorry. One that I know that you're quite excited for, Rob, is Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch. That's coming out next year.
Yeah. Again, that the announcement for that was literally them just revealing the title Metroid Prime 4. And even I was just like, oh, yes, give it to me. Fuck it into my veins. So, yeah, that's how excited I am for it. I will buy a Switch for it. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah, I'm probably going to get that as well. Definitely one of the Switch games that I'll be getting next year. Diablo 4 has been announced and will be coming out. I think it's a to be confirmed date of this year, but that's definitely one that will be coming out. Hopefully Blizzard does well, because Diablo 3 was quite good. I don't know how many of you guys have played Diablo 3.
No, I never got it. It was one that I wanted, but it was always like, it came out when I was in uni, and it was just way too expensive for what it was, I thought.
Likewise.
At the time.
Exact same.
So I never got it, even though me and all my flatmates really wanted to play it.
Yeah, Diablo 3 was good, and I hope Diablo 4, by the looks of the artwork, I know you can't really go off artwork, but it does look very good. We've got Watch Dogs Legion coming out, the third game in the Watch Dogs franchise, the Brexit edition, as I like to call it. Bit more dystopian, bit more futuristic, set in London.
Very Saints Row.
Very Saints Row, yeah, definitely. I don't definitely think I'll get it, but it's one that would be nice to play, I guess. See how they deal with the disaster, which was Watch Dogs 2.
It'll be interesting to see how the delay of this is going to affect the game as well. Because, as we mentioned earlier, they had a particularly bad fiscal year.
My main concern with Watch Dogs Legion is the fact that they've stuck with that. It's a unique concept, the whole flip between different characters thing, and they've shown that there's sort of a bit of story to them, but how many different character archetypes are you going to end up having? It's going to be quite limited, I would imagine. So I feel like you might lose one guy who's got this one particular story, and you might feel a bit bad about it. But then 10 minutes later, you'll have somebody with the same storyline running or something, same voice, same face, and you'll be like, oh. And it might cheapen it a bit for you.
And it depends if they do multiple, procedurally generated people, or if it's just a set number.
They could procedurally generate the faces. Obviously, there's the tech for that around at the moment. But I mean, they've still got. They said they've hired so many voice actors for voicing these characters that you're going to have. So there's only going to be a limited amount of voice actors. At a point, you are going to run into some guy that you lost an hour ago or something, and you'll be like, "Oh, what the fuck? You're dead."
Well, I guess it depends. They could have multiple voice actors doing multiple storylines. So yeah, it breaks the immersion. But say they've got like 20 voice actors, you're unlikely to lose 20 characters because they'll probably do it in. Well,
I've played XCOM, Gary. I know how it goes.
Yeah, that's true.
They've got the remake Resident Evil 3 as well coming out, which will be, I believe, in April.
Still need to play the remakes of Resident Evil 1 and 2, to be honest. So
still yet to play Resident Evil 7, aren't you, Rob?
oh god, it's a scary experience, Gary, and it just oh god.
That's why we got it for you.
I have played some of it. I just need to finish it. I need to stick in and just go right. I'm powering through this. Like, invest in some new pants and continue.
We definitely need a co-op horror game to play together.
Oh god.
Rob, going off your pants, I think a good sponsor here would be MeUndies.
We're not sponsored, Gary. Not yet. Jesus Christ.
But maybe if we plug them enough, they'll help plug us.
Why don't we plug something good instead of underwear? Oh, Teslas.
You said something good, Jordy.
You know what could you know what might be scary? The next game, this is a sequel called Beyond Good and Evil 2. I have not played Beyond Good and Evil 1, if there is a game.
I did. It was early GameCube days. It was all right, pretty good story to it. Just quite clunky. And what they've shown off is a complete departure from what that first one seemed to be. So yeah, cautiously optimistic. I don't know, like it looks like they're trying to do essentially a Star Citizen looking sort of thing to it with like, open universe, no load times, planets, blah, 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 no, all this. But like how that ties into any of the actual gameplay mechanics, I have no idea. Like whether it's just there and you're like, okay.
I've got to say the character design, was her name Jade?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks badass in Good and Evil 2. Like, I like that they've ditched the green.
Cool. So, moving on to the next game. This is one that's been pushed back or cancelled, and I don't know where it is, but I want it so badly. Dead Island 2, where are you? Please come back to us.
Oh, speaking of heartbreaking cancellations.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
System Shock 3. Everybody's been laid off.
Oh, yeah. Saw that.
The wording wasn't even laid off or fired. It was just, they are no longer employed. Nobody is employed.
Yeah, it was a former dev from the team that outed that, wasn't it? They just said something like, just so that you know, we've all been sacked.
Oh, damn. Right.
So that was Other Side Entertainment.
And I was quite looking forward to that.
Is that Other Side Entertainment?
Starbreeze owns it. I can't remember what the developers were, but Starbreeze is the publisher.
Oh yeah, it was Other Side was developing.
Famously don't have money.
Famously.
There's Starbreeze or Other Side that went under?
Other Side of the devs, and they're fine, but their own, the rights to System Shock were owned by Starbreeze, who have pretty much run out of money.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like the dynamic here is that Other Side is still operating as developer, but the team that was specifically working on System Shock were all just told, go home.
Cool. Well, the last few games we've got to get through. Let's quickly jump in. We've got, for the Switch exclusive, Animal Crossing. I'm not sure if any of us have played any Animal Crossing, but that is one that is coming
it's
out.
fun, it's nice, it's just utterly pleasant, and I adore it.
Yeah. Comfy,
and
cute.
Also kind of evil at the same time.
Tom Nook, the vicious hooks of capitalism straight in you as soon as you start the game. Is that what you're saying, Gary? Or
I don't know. I just find the overall niceness of it quite creepy.
You're just thinking it's some weird sort of Wicker Man style place that these animals have fucking got you in. Like, yes, live a good life, provide for the community.
Yeah.
Then you will help with the harvest.
Yeah, either that or it's a socialist stream. I don't know.
Cool. We've got Rainbow Six Quarantine. I've not seen much of this as a release, and it's apparently meant to come out, or was meant to come out in the first quarter of 2020, but apparently it's been delayed.
I am somewhat perplexed by this game.
Yeah,
what's the need? What's the market? What's the point?
Yeah, like the whole background of the Rainbow Six games has been obviously a very focused, like, tactical SWAT game, and it's the fact that they have just decided in 2020, bit late into the game, to decide to do their own version of Nazi zombies. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. Now, obviously, they'll have a gimmick to make it slightly different, but it is fundamentally our guys fight monsters.
Yeah, I mean, I know he died like 7 years ago, but I think they're just like, well, what's he going to fucking do? He's not there to complain.
If we were having any sort of style of like Rainbow Six sort of SWAT sort of game, it would definitely this year, hopefully, Ready or Not will be actually released, and that is like the successor to the original SWAT game.
Yeah,
and that would be a perfect sort of style of game that I reckon we could all play.
Yeah,
and get quite involved in. Obviously, Call of Duty will be bringing out another form of IP this year.
God,
Black Ops 5, whatever.
Couldn't give a toss.
Yeah, like it's been done to death now. Like Modern Warfare, I played it for a bit. They've been updating it, but the recent update for Call of Duty was like half the size of the full game. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I almost feel like that's some bad optimization.
Well, yeah, but they've also released the Battle Pass thing, and it is incredibly pushing you towards microtransactions, because there's a few people, like the Call of Duty subreddit is fucking livid, because they're just like, the amount of XP you need to even gain like a single level. Somebody said like he played for like 2 hours or something, and he went up the first level.
Oh, God.
And it was like, there's no way anybody with like a job or any sort of commitments outside of playing Call of Duty is ever going to polish off the Battle Pass and without paying for it. And they are clearly just pushing you to do that, as opposed to something like Rocket League, where it's like an optional thing and you still get some free tat on the side, or the Rockstar Battle Pass thing on Red Dead, where, you know, you get a whole bunch of free stuff just playing, and then there's the stuff that essentially pays for itself if you get it. You know, it's just...
Can someone please just
takes.
bloody make a reboot of Time Splitters? That's all the people want.
My God,
that's all we want.
But if they did a reboot of Time Splitters, I implore whoever does it, just update the engine to be so current, like shooter wise, like make the gunplay feel good.
Yeah,
because Time Splitters was a bit janky. I would like to see Time Splitters 2 redone with, say, I don't know, like Titanfall / Apex's engine / Rainbow Six, whatever, something like that. And also
Frostbite.
Maybe make it less sexist.
Yeah, and more monkeys.
Yeah,
the monkeys were fun.
And bricks.
Cool. So, just before we round up, we've got a couple of trailers that we're going to quickly watch and give you guys our first impressions. We've got Outriders from Square Enix that has just been recently released, or announced even.
I'm just quickly going to Google this.
Yeah, and you didn't provide links for these, Jordan.
And Atomic Heart as well by Mundfish.
We awoke from one nightmare into another. Not on our dying Earth, but somewhere much worse.
That looks confused, but no, just confused. Although, you know, the best thing I have to say about that is their choice of music for the trailer. Steel and Ardor, they're amazing.
Oh, it was a very good trailer. Annoyingly, it's a three-person co-op campaign game. So it's like a sort of Destiny meets sort of Bioshock,
Gears of War
sort of thing, yeah,
and Dragon Age.
Yeah, you've got like the powers from like Bioshock, that sort of thing, as well as guns and like Destiny style sort of co-op. But yeah, I thought it was quite a good trailer. I reckon the game will be decent. The story does look a bit all over the place.
It feels very much like the story was designed around the gameplay, where they're just like, what if it was like a shooter, but you had like magic powers on the side, and they're like, but why would you have magic powers? And it's like, shut up, it's magic.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like the trailer at all.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing in that that made me think, oh, I want this.
In that from looking at that now.
It feels like they've crammed multiple different elements from multiple different AAA games, put it all together, like Rob said, confused it. There's nothing new that I saw there.
It feels like game designed by committee.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah. Couldn't have put
This
that in
thing's
myself.
popular, this thing's popular. Gears of War did well. Let's put those together. That'll make a great game. No.
That Gears of War was the first thing that I thought of, because the guns look identical to Gears of War guns.
Yeah. Bet you it has a Battle Royale multiplayer mode.
I thought the guns was like more of a Destiny thing.
It has that vibe as well, yeah.
There's a whole mix of those sort of art styles and stuff in there, which is kind of where the confusion comes from. Where it's like, are you just humans on a standard planet, or what's happening here?
If you'd have told me this was...
That just speaks to me like, oh, we'll go with the green zone and the rocky zone.
Yeah, if you'd have told me that this was Anthem 2.0...
Or DLC for Destiny.
I wouldn't have blinked twice.
Yeah.
Cool. So we check out the next trailer for Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart.
Yep.
I like the name of this one.
Okay. Yeah, that looks better than... You should have just shown us that one. That cinematic meant nothing.
Just to let you know, Gary put that first one in the chat. I was always looking at the one that was 40 seconds long.
Ah.
All right.
Apologies.
You did it again, Gary.
But
Just like your father.
that 2 minute one did show like quite a lot of what the in-game engine could do. And yeah, the whole BioShock meets Fallout in Russia. I was sold as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, definitely on for that. Unless it's an Epic Games exclusive, at which point they can fuck off.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Metro 2030, whatever, Metro Exodus 2032-419. It's finally
50-50.
coming out to everything else. I forgot it was even released because it was an Epic exclusive. Oh, God.
Cool. So, full agreement that Atomic Heart is definitely going to be on our 2020 to play, you reckon?
Yep.
Do you know if it's co-op?
I
think it's just single player by the looks of it.
Yeah, it is like a single player game.
I could imagine something like that as a full 4-player co-op being like amazing. Imagine
you just need to do like a Fallout or Elder Scrolls that has at least 2-player co-op. Make it
4-player?
Yeah.
Fallout is 76.
Make it a lot harder and just add co-op.
76, but with private lobbies.
Cool. Right. So that is the end of this week's episode. Thank you all for your amazing feedback and the likes and retweets and all that jazz on the social channels. If you guys do want to follow us on our social channels, we are at VGC_podcast on Twitter and Facebook. We are also on YouTube on VGC Video Game Chat Podcast. And yeah, guys, where can we find you guys on the interwebs?
You can find me on YouTube at Rob Coxey. I'm linked on the channel for the podcast, so easy to find.
Gary?
Well, you're linked on the YouTube channel.
Well, yes.
Oh yeah, you did say YouTube, so that makes sense. Cut that.
Gary?
No, I'm keeping that in.
You can find me on YouTube as well. I'm Endash, ENDASH. Again, not the SpongeBob one.
Goddamn SpongeBob. And Brendan, where can we find you?
You can find me, but don't find me. Stay out of my life.
Okay, guys. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Oh, he said it. Oh, got him.
We didn't say leave a comment or like or whatever. But
Too fucking bad. I've stopped the
You
recording.
said how good the feedback was. I'm stopping the recording. Well done, guys. Thank you.